Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 130, written by Much Juggernaut 4321. A journal written in with misery. The rest was a mystery. I've been reading this page over the past couple of weeks or so, and never thought I'd even have something to contribute. But this popped into my mind today. Preface. A few years ago in college, I was on a dance team. Every fall, we'd hold auditions and a new girl joined the team. We'll call her Panda, as it's the nickname I have with her currently. She was really nice, but I also didn't think much of it, as she was just an acquaintance at this point. Anyways, I was going through some dark episodes in college and was journaling it down one day. I remember specifically writing a line like, "I don't want to be here anymore, and I don't know what to do about it." Immediately after writing that, Panda's name popped into my head. It's almost like it was implanted in my head rather than a thought that came from the conscious me. I wrote her name with a question mark after it. I didn't know what to think. It was entirely random to me. I hadn't known her well enough to assume she'd be going through anything. I wasn't sure what made me write her name down after that statement, but I moved along with my journaling. Later that same day, our dance team met at a party and I could tell something was off with her. Based on the weirdness of journaling earlier that day, I felt compelled to pull her aside and ask what's wrong. It turns out she was struggling with self-harm, which I could entirely relate to based on my past. I was taken aback. That was a weird enough coincidence on its own. But what really floored me is when she said the exact sentence I had written down. "I don't want to be here anymore, and I don't know what to do about it." I guess that could be considered a common statement. And I know this isn't the craziest glitch, if that's what it is, but I'm also not someone that expects things like this to happen to me. I know the universe is weird, but my life feels very average and normal. What are the chances I would write something down hours before it was said to me and predict who was going to say it? Ultimately, her and I ended up becoming best friends, and it was that day that made all the difference. Case notes, file number 130. You saved each other. I don't know if this was a glitch or if somehow your minds were synced and connected. Frankly, coincidences do happen all the time. I do lean a little towards it being more mysterious, mainly because she thought the exact same line that you had written down. It could be a coincidence, but it's not very likely. That would be quite the fluke if no other phenomena was involved. I've heard of twins having this kind of bond. The author responded to me saying, "I agree with you. We are both very emotional, but the more we've gotten to know each other, we've realized that our issues are fundamentally different. We are a great support system for each other though." Case file number 131, written by MeanLogic. Invisible to the eye, maybe here to say goodbye. Just a bit of background info. I'm a technology industry professional, currently working on teaching vehicles how to drive themselves. In order for this technology to work, it uses a mix of radar and Lidar to read the world around it, build a 3D representation of what it sees, and then categorize it before mapping it out in real time. Essentially, it constructs the world around it to constantly learn, adapt, and self-navigate from point A to point B and beyond. As a part of this process, we often send out mapping vehicles to pre-map the area and/or determine if the area is a viable location for such a vehicle to operate in. A process we typically do at night because there's way less traffic on the road and we have ample time to correct any issues that may occur. Last year, while one of our mapping vehicles was out and about, it happened to enter into a cemetery one evening. We don't map cemeteries, but we will sometimes map the entrance and driveways of some locations in order to provide the vehicle additional options should it run into something we'd rather avoid. For example, road construction, police activity, or an accident. In any case, the vehicle wound up going into the cemetery. A few moments later, the technician watching what the vehicle is picking up goes, "Hey man, are you seeing this?" As I stated, the vehicle will scan and categorize whatever it picks up in its area of operation. I look at the screen, and although the vehicle was picking up and categorizing pedestrians in the area, there was no one there to see. Even the categorization was fluctuating from pedestrian to unknown to even animal. We'd see them pop up on the lidar the vehicle was using to scan the area and the trajectory they were headed in at that time, look up the real-time cameras, and nothing. Both of us are natural skeptics, but both of us have also had our experiences with things we couldn't explain, so it's a healthy skepticism. We kept looking for ways to debunk what it was we were seeing, but there was no explanation we could think of. The vehicle was clearly picking up something on its lidar that we just could not see in the cameras. This went on for several minutes, and long enough that we called the others to verify what we were seeing. Whatever the vehicle was picking up that night was something that we just couldn't see with the naked eye. Case notes, file number 131. The system, using radar and lidar, was detecting something, but you just couldn't see it. I don't know if radar and lidar are known to detect ghosts. It is a cemetery, so one would think, it must be a spirit then. I mean, it could be. The author responded to me saying, oh, definitely. Headlights were on. All other lights, such as brake lights and turn signals, were working. As I mentioned to someone else, the vehicle and its ability are safe enough that we use these vehicles to drive actual passengers around with no driver in the front seat. They drive themselves completely autonomously. There are, however, technicians like myself who can monitor the vehicle and even take control remotely if necessary, should the vehicle run into an issue it cannot think through on its own. Expanding on my thoughts, all I can say to that is, these automatic cars are tested to such an extent, the program has to be so flawless that accidents are almost impossible. So whatever it's picking up, you'd think it's no programming bug. Something was there. Maybe it was just a small animal that couldn't be seen by the naked eye. What do you think? If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, and you may as well start a binge session now. I have so many more stories on my channel.